sample from our patient being kept in the isolation ward of Mercy Hospital. You gotta go in there, take out the surveillance, subdue the civilians, and get me into the patient database so I can ID the guy. With the low security in this place, it should be a nice, clean job. I'll get you out via the roof when you're done. This job is a little shady, brokered through a third party. Got some serious shadow company, military, industrial vibes, but worth the risk. The payday's something we're gonna need in the future, plus a nice cash bonus. Okay guys, remember, computer, blood sample, validation, and then get the hell out by the elevator. No. And I hope you brought something to take out the security cameras with. Take out the cameras before the alarm goes off. You got 9 cameras to take off. I'll count down the time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, body, hombre!
There goes the alarm. Guess we gotta do this the hard way.
Relax. Stay still, yo.
Go get the teddy bear from the reception, then take out the saw and set it up on the doors.
Get ready now.
You got it. Doing it now.
You want to be
Down.
still? Make it glorious. Make it beautiful. Let's open the fucking door. And I will put you back down.
Get down now. Get ready, guys. Oh shit, that's the cops.
Get down. They're in the vents.
Hey, shield! Shield is down, baby.
Got the bulldozer.
Get a taser. Shield the taser.
I got the shield.
Check your corners.
Don't let him up. Bring the hostage
It's a shield.
City's present. Evac plan needed. Scream.
Taser got it.
Joker is dead.
Shield.
Sneaky bastardo.
Watch out.
Taser is dead. I took the dozer out.
Civilians are an asset. You kill them, they're armed.
I got the taser.
They got a shield.
I got that shield, cabrón.
Down, keep the door. Get out and fight.
Dead.
find him.
Do them one by one and keep the cops away.
Fucking loser is dead! Those are coming.
This is weird, guys. The boards are lighting up like crazy. Something's wrong. I think we have major trouble coming. Damn it, I knew this was shady.
Taser is dead.
Got the shield.
You're gonna give me a heart attack. I'll get to work. You don't have all day. You might as well call the elevator. One more sample and you can get out of there. Great. Now he's just gonna hold out till it gets there. This thing keeps stopping. I gotta override the system. It'll be a while until it reaches you. Check your corners. Maybe 2 minutes, if I don't get interrupted.
Manos arriba. Get down. Surrender or die, pendejo. On your knees, pendejo. You can't handcuff. Use them. Woo, I got the taser. I took the dozer out.
Bastards cut the power. You gotta get it back. Great. Nicely done. Now keep moving.
All right, time to finish the job.
Down the cloaker. 10 point.
Hey, Sydney, follow me, wait.
Now, just down the ramp and out. That place is gonna collapse. Climb out of there.
On me now! Come get more ammo!
Wow, that was a hell of a thing. You all right? Now, miss... The cops are about to raid the safe house. Grab your weapons. You guys remember that sketchy old house out in the forest? Where hipsters guys were cooking up meth? Well, we're headed back. This is a simple job, but that doesn't... We're gonna head out to the forest. You remember the place? We did some work for Hector out there. Anyway, I scoped the place out and it's still intact. So, we're headed there to cook up as much... You can stay as long as you want. If you run out of supplies, I'll get more flown in. Should be easy money.
Look out, losers!
Upstairs.
Get into the house.
This is it.
We're going to need ingredients. So scout the place and see what you can find. I'm looking for muriatic acid, caustic soda, and hydrogen chloride. Remember to be careful. We cannot use the wrong ingredient. You need to be careful.
We need you, buddy.
Come with me.
Get up!
We have to hurry. The cops' radio is buzzing like crazy. They're already on their way. Here they come, guys. Choppers and SWAT vans all over the place around you. Stay on your toes. If I read this correctly, caustic soda. That should get things cooking.
My cooker! I got it!
Alright, next ingredient. Caustic soda. You got some of that somewhere? Fine, fine. They're inside. Cops in the building.
The taser!
Booker!
Alright, let's see. I'm going with hydrogen chloride. Oh, this is not my forte. Hold on. Hydrogen chloride. Go for it.
Suck on this!
Okay, solid. They got the boat to the house. Lines are down. Cops, kill the lights. Get it down.
Hey, chingado! Okay, we got it secured. Incoming, asshole! I got the cloaker!
Next step is muriatic acid. If my calculations are correct.
Taser!
The process is done. Bag it up and let's turn it around.
Shield down!
Turn the power off. The lights are down.
Dead!
Bodie! Follow my lead. Bodie! Follow me. Quick! Let's get even.
Medic bag, over here!
Nail the bulldozer. Grenade!
you. Three assailants.
Out the window! Coming through the window! Alright, next ingredient. I'm going with hydrogen chloride. I think so, at least. It's hydrogen chloride. And cross your fingers. The process is done. Bag it up and let's do another round. Be careful, they have snipers incoming.
Loco está muerto. He's dead.
Come on. Move it. Brody, come on. Move.
Cops, fill the lights. Get it back on.
Those are cabrón.
We got down.
Sonic Mania must have brought with it a terrible moment of crisis, Sonic team. Oh shit, I out of how Sonic game pouring their finger from their nose with a wet palm. We've been trying to slowly and painfully euthanize this franchise for years, and this might turn things around at a stroke. What if another generation of creepy shut-ins turn into Sonic fans, flooding Deviant out with poorly portraits of their original characters and molesting the family's pets? Worse yet, what if people start holding Sonic games to actual standards again and we have to put some bloody work in? It won't come to that, cries another Sonic team member, dynamically standing to reveal their full name. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull out all the stops and forces. We're going to make terrible Sonic games beat all terrible 3D Sonic games. We're going to showcase everything we've learned over the last 2 decades of terrible 3D Sonic games, which is to say absolutely bugger all. No one's going to be able to so much as think about molesting family pets because they'll be too busy thinking about how bad Sonic Forces is. And whatever Sonic game comes after it will be lauded with praise as much as manages to shit on the kitchen floor instead of the carpet. The world is grateful for your sacrifice, Sonic team. Sonic Forces gargles so much spunk that every parasitic microbe that dwells in its rotten teeth has gotten pregnant with a little turd. No, really, it's like a fucking compilation clip show of terrible decisions that Sonic games have made. It introduces a new generic villain who's all powerful and invincible in time. Most of the levels are railroaded past sequences that kill you if you press any buttons. Occasionally, even if you don't. All of Sonic's pals from all previous games collectively wasted enough space to rehome the Indian refugee. Even that grey dude from Sonic 2006 and Charmy the fucking D. It's like holding a symposium for all your favourite rapists. And of course, no one can keep their fucking mouth shut for 5 seconds. You're not funny, Sonic the Hedgehog. You talk like a dorky high school kid who read a book of Yo Mama and then marched confidently into his school cafeteria, somehow convinced he wasn't walking there with a lunch tray shoved up his ass. It seemed like such a promising idea. A Sonic game where the main character wasn't Sonic, but a player-designed silent protagonist, a la the South Park games, fighting back against the robotic regime after Sonic is in disgrace. Potential there. An unproven character having to earn their way to the level of power and acclaim Sonic already has. So Dr. Robotnik, yes, I know we've officially switched to Eggman now, but the bloke who invented the GIF format still pronounces it GIF, and he's still fucking wrong. Actually, it would be a credible threat for once. Plus, creating your own protagonist is exactly the sort of thing those creepy shut-ins with their original character fixations need to keep them distracted from fucking the dog. For a moment, it seemed like Sonic seemed wrong or something, but I shouldn't realise that the only thing Sonic team is on is a big pile of their own shit and piss. Firstly, Robotnik having conquered the world is established solely in a text screen, and otherwise everything seems the same as always. I see no evidence for any other ruling authority in this world. Robotnik is still 100% focused on battling Sonic and his mates, when you'd think he'd have other things to worry about now, like working out his tax plan and getting his enslaved pod squirrel girls to notch his wrinkly balls. And as for Sonic being indisposed, this lasts for all of 1 minute before he's suddenly disposed again. They talk a big game about him being in prison and torture, but when we do find out he's just standing around. In fact, I don't think the door was even locked. Incidentally, this section includes my favourite line of dialogue in the game, to which the prisoners are being held in some kind of internment facility. No, a prison there. Nice to see that sterling resistance intelligence network in action. After this, we have to play as Sonic for about half the game. Wasn't this supposed to be about our custom protagonist developing into a hero? No, more Sonic. Don't you understand? Sonic is the coolest. You'll play him for half the game, and for half the remaining levels, you will have to be holding hands with Sonic the whole time. And then at the very end, if you're very lucky, Sonic will fist bump your custom protagonist and tell them they are a cool dude. You'll then be provided with tissues to mop up your gushing orgasm. So all in all, there's like one scene where our protagonist is scared and helpless against the main villain, and then they're equally as powerful as Sonic if they decide to be. And that's about it for character development, unless it's got 6 million unlock screens we have to sit through, which actually make the stage clear screen last about twice as fucking long as the stage itself. Oh yes, and the retro Sonic from Sonic Generations also turns up for reasons that go largely unexplored, probably because the only reason is that Sonic Generations went down all right and Sonic Team officially don't have a fucking clue what you people want anymore. Still, it is kind of nice to have a retro Sonic level now and then to break up the god-awful monster Sonic levels. It's nice to start with things as being actual threat rather than standing gorgeously in your path and these things come with the world, I'll remind you, we are expected to believe. From what? Supermarket trolley attendants? Sonic Forces is a culmination of all Sonic Team's bugaboos. The biggest of them being their indecisiveness. Unable to have faith in any of their new ideas, they crowd them out of sight with old ones because they're afraid of disappointing established fans, which is like not using chemistry because you're afraid of disappointing your vaginal bacteria. The fan base is the key to all of Sonic Team's issues. Even Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast is close to 20 fucking years old, and anyone who was into that is now pushing 30 and demanding that their beloved Sonic games have a maturer tone so that they can play them and not feel like paedophiles for doing so. And while there's a lot of overlap between stuff for kids and stuff for adults these days, come the fuck on. Fuzzy animals fighting a mad scientist with the power of friendship. It's not Harry Potter, get your fucking dicks out of it. And just because you fucked up Sonic 2 doesn't mean you had to go, whoops, guess redoing things didn't help, time to put our dicks back in it. But you know what, I have found it gratifying to piss all over the game for nice straightforward reasons, like the developers being completely fucking inept. Not because it got ass cancer from all the corporations raping it. I can at least suggest ways to fix Sonic, shift priorities. I don't know where you'd begin fixing something like EA. At this point, it would be like taking a giant rampaging hippo who has been engineered from birth to feed on money and trying to wean it onto hobnobs. Firstly, contempt for my fellow man, as usual. Second, released round has got to hit sooner or later, so it's wiser to keep your nest feathered. And third, Square Enix put out Left Alive and hoped I wouldn't notice. I think the first time I saw it advertised, like the day before it came out, and even then its completely unmemorable title wouldn't leave a finger mark in a bowl of watery porridge. I kept thinking it was called Still Alive, but of course that was the Portal. That's my amusement. When it detects the presence of Mondo shittiness, it starts thinking about really good games to keep my hormones balanced. Left Alive is bad, have no doubt. It's not the usual boring bad. They packed out shit as always, callously designed to wring from the mentally disadvantaged the money that their schools and workplaces give them if they promise not to show up. It's the much more interesting for my purposes, bafflingly horribly designed bad that some idiot actually published. Come on, Square Enix, you're old enough to know better. What happened to the sterling business minds that published... If I gave you money, would you go away? Left Alive is about a haunting vision of the future in which two parts of Russia, populated mysteriously by people with American accents, decide to call themselves silly names and declare war on each other, instead of being on some individuals from the less shitty country, struggling to survive in the more shitty country as the occupiers move to exterminate everyone non-shitty. I'll spare us the detailed plot summary, AJP Taylor, to tell us what kind of game it is. Do you know what it is? I'm not sure. I can tell you what it isn't. It isn't very good, but in gameplay terms, I suppose it's primarily a stealth game. It's solid. Protagonist springs into a dog like a teenager leaping to slam the laptop closed as his mum walks in. It does the MGS thing of giving us tons of unnecessary solutions. You can craft grenades, and sticky grenades, and remote grenades, and sticky remote grenades, but then 99% of the time all you need to do is chuck an old tin and take it in the opposite direction. But then at other times it feels like survival horror with evil Russians. Although it might just be because the first two cunts you control are American accented Russian Leon Kennedy and American accented Russian Claire Redfield. And then every now and again the game lets you pilot a giant robot for about 90 seconds in a sort of tone-deaf attempt to spice things up, equivalent to splicing Transformers movie clips into the board game on Red October. When it's set in an open-ended part of the city, you can usually prove your fat American accented Russian heart over to where the check mark is. But there are also side objectives, installing civilians to safety. Oh boy, let's add the shittiest parts of Dead Rising to the list of things we're not sure if we're ripping off or not. It does do the Dead Rising thing where before you subject yourself to the terrible gameplay you have to prove that you're worthy of it. I ran into one civilian who wouldn't let me escort her until she went through a dialogue trick. And if I picked anything but one specific thread of responses from a list that all seemed to mean the exact same thing, she fucking popped her on the skull. And then I had to pretend to look disappointed. But the true shit shower of Left Alive all falls upon one flimsy umbrella, and that's bad AI. In fact, if there were a bad games version of Captain Planet, then I Am Alive would be chosen to wield the power ring of bad AI. It all starts when you get near the enemy, and you will know about it because the computer voice goes, "The enemy are approaching," every fucking time, like a forgetful stat. So you get into cover, as long as you press the button when you were within the regulation half centimetre from the cover and didn't do a flying somersault into the open. Instead, you poke your head out the side of cover to observe the guard, at which point the guard goes, "Oh look, it's someone's head," everyone gets alerted and you get shot 50 times in the body. Granted, yes, that would happen in real life, but I've grown used to a sort of gentlemanly etiquette where stealth games are concerned. But it's in the subsequent conflict that the big brain complex. I chucked a Molotov and the enemy screamed and ran away from the fire, then ran straight back into it, double-checked that it was the thing making his eyeballs melt. Another time, I was sitting down in a box with no means of escape, but the 17 guards that were pinning him down just stopped and wandered off. Alertness cap. At other times, after popping out, I couldn't tell if a soldier was still unalerted or if he'd had a little Alzheimer's brain fart and forgotten how to move or shoot. Those Alzheimer's brain farts can be contagious too. At one point I was escorting a lady, and when she was barely 6 feet from the shelter, incidentally, yeah, let's put refugees in obvious inescapable holes in the ground, in the middle of occupied territory. I'm sure they'll be just fucking dandy. When she caught a whiff of enemy fart and immediately screamed and hugged the ground. Then like 6 enemy soldiers all came over and clustered around her like a rugby scrum, possibly to compare notes on how to make their guns fire. Fuck, did this army recruit all its conscripts from the special schools? Or will I take off one of those evil faceless helmets and discover naught but a stack of confused hedgehogs in the shape of a man? I think the game itself had an Alzheimer's brain fart and forgot whether it was courting Adolf action or Slobodan stealth. I mean, you have no stealth takedown, unless you count stun locking a lone enemy with repeated crowbars to the mush, which is as quiet and subtle as a hippo using a portaloo. Most of what you can craft are explosives, but said explosives damage the average enemy soldier about as much as a 3-star gun can do. You can carry ammunition for the enlarged nostril, and if you get spotted and enter combat, you're rolling the dice on either getting your body atomized by gunfire from all directions, or escaping because the enemy all forgot how many legs they had and fell over. Then again, adult action wrestles control back, and I'm suddenly expected to use my nostril full of ammo and sparrow fart grenades to escape a fucking corridor with 50 alerted guys in, that I got dumped into after a cutscene. 5 Alive is mesmerizingly bad. It's like the world's worst lasagna. I keep finding more layers of dog shit. I'd almost recommend it for the sideshow factor if it weren't so frustrating and unrewarding to play. The precise moment where it all came crashing down for me was when I found a hidden document that displayed a piece of flavor text stating that the city council rejected a proposal to overhaul the city. In that moment, the scales fell from my eyes. What the fuck am I doing here? Why the fuck am I reading this? Flavor text, only in the sense that plain is a flavor of crisp. Ah, the long-awaited Crackdown 3. Well, frankly, while it has been close to a decade since the last Crackdown, 13 years since the last Crackdown that didn't suck mouthfuls of used baby wipes from a blocked sewer drain, I'm not sure it's fair to say that anyone's been awaiting another one. I was content to forget about it and recycle the relevant phrases and think of more inventive ways to look down ladies' pops without them noticing, but nevertheless, Crackdown 3 has appeared, and its very appropriate title, Down, because that's how it makes me feel, Crack, because anyone involved with it is going to lose their teeth and rip something dick behind the bus station, and 3, which sounds a bit like we. Guys, we all know you're being needlessly negative because Crackdown 3 is already reviewed pretty shittily and you're going for the mercy kill. Switch to contrarian mode, you lazy asshole. Oh, alright, Crackdown 3's good actually. Well, the fact is, time has made a fool of Crackdown 3. Clearly the feeling was that it's been long enough since Crackdown 2 that it was time to bring back Crackdown 1 updated for a new generation. But then someone rested their balls on the piece of paper where they wrote the idea down and obscured the last 5 words. And then all the scrotum sweat messed up the ink, and after they lifted up their balls, the words had somehow changed to "and put Kenny Cruz in it." Crackdown 3 is about a glittering future city that was established in the aftermath of a global crisis in which the superpowered peacekeepers of the ever unspecifically named agency are going into to start trouble because the people running it are evil. Or at least we are given every assurance that they are. It's a very tell-don't-show kind of arrangement. We don't get to see for ourselves much of the oppression and violence we're told is taking place. The most evidence the game presents for us outside of reading videos is that the city has police stations. Yes, our helicopter does get shot down on the way in, but that could just have been the